Hello everyone, my name is Corix and welcome to my big quote-unquote project that I've been talking about for the last 3 months. I started this project all the way back in January and it's finally complete. There were a lot of issues with this project, some footage not working, me getting sick on multiple occasions, and my procrastination and overall anxiety about me wanting this project to be absolutely fucking perfect didn't help. Before we begin, I just wanted to let you all know that in the first day of this video, I had like 2 hours of sleep and was super sick, so my voice is rather soft and deep, and that changes heavily in day 2 and onwards, so don't let that distract you too much or push you away from watching the rest of the video. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting out on day 1, I began with creating my beautiful, wonderful, and generic character, and picked the standard farm because I'm basic. I woke on my brand new plot of land, cleared out a bit of space, and began to plant my parsnips as one usually does on their first day. I then went to town to introduce myself to the locals and to buy some seeds from peers. I bought one of each main seed for spring and then bought all the potatoes I could afford. They are the most profitable crop in spring, and girl needs her money. After that, I cleared out more space on my farm, and when I finally got bored, I decided what better way to spend my first day than to forage. And after a long day's work, I went to bed, concluding my first day in Stardew Valley. Day 2 starts off with a letter from Willie, who had just returned home from a fishing trip. After watering my crops, I made my way down to the beach and received my basic fishing rod. I spent most of the day fishing away, as it is one of the most relaxing things in the game for me. At the end of the night, I got level 2 fishing, and I hardly made any money. I was not very pleased about it. Day 3 began with an explosion having been heard in the night. I have no clue what that meant, so I can only assume an owl statue. It always rains on the 3rd day of spring, meaning I get out of doing my crop chores. Like day 2, I fished for most of the day, collecting community center fish along with some future investment fish. I had also popped by the museum and was told I could donate any artifacts and minerals I find. I went to bed and hit level 3 fishing. Day 4 began with the rain finally clearing away and me being able to do my good farmer duty. I went up to the mountain, gave a gift to Linus, and once again, yes, once again, I am fishing. However, this time I fished till I passed out, so that's the only main difference between this day and the last day. I did, however, in fact, reach fishing level 4. God, please, tell me I didn't fish for the entire day. As an editor's note, tell me I didn't fish for the entire day. Okay, well, I did, but not as much as I have been. My parsnips were ready on day 5, and god damn it, I didn't get a goddamn single gold quality parsnip. Usually I always get at least one, but it's like, god damn it. It's fine. It's totally fine. I had my hopes up with the traveling cart. Thought maybe something of interest, like a red cabbage seed. Wait a minute. That's a red cabbage. Also, can you tell me about the fact that that large egg is 500 gold, but the normal egg is 1,000? Like, dear God, traveling cart woman, you are scaring people. You want to guess what I did the rest of the day? Fished. I'm not kidding. Hey, at least I got farming level 1 and fishing level 5, so please tell me I am done fishing for a bit. Day 6, the first day, and the past 4 days where fishing is not an action that I do. I watered my crops and I foraged for a good while before chopping a few trees and buying some more seeds for future ideas and plans. I chopped wood till I was almost exhausted and plopped myself ever so happily in bed because I did not fish. I broke the fishing habit. My potatoes were ready on day 7, meaning I didn't have to water as many crops first thing in the morning. When I walked into town, Mary Lewis took me to the abandoned community center where I met a Junimo. I'm not crazy, I swear it's not a rat. So now my collecting of items was finally going to help me with something. Today was my first day down the mines. I needed to get to the ice and lava floors as soon as possible to get the mine carts up and running in the community center. I made it to 10 floors before calling it a night. After doing my chores on day 8, I visited the wizard for some, I can only hope to say is a potion. I was back down the mines trying to get as far as I could with the food sources I had. I made it down to floor 20 before deciding to retire to my comfy bed. I was back in the mines again for day 9, however I had run out of food from the day prior, so I'd only made it to floor 28 before having to leave. At this point, I wanted to be at floor 40 by now, so in my mind, I was very behind schedule. I spent the last few hours of the day smelting my ore from the previous few days. On day 10, I awoke to Marnie at my doorstep with a puppy! I decided to name her Rosebud because for some strange reason, I was reminiscing of the old days with the Air Buddies movie, and Rosebud was always one of my favorite pups, and so it just felt right. I raced down to the mines and god damn! I went from floor 25 to floor 45, which honestly puts me almost right on schedule. If the next time I made down into the mines was floor 60, I would have been right on schedule. God damn, I'm good. Day 11, my parsnips were once again ready for harvest, and I still had not a single gold parsnip. I went into town, talked to some villagers, gave a gift to Emily, and bought a ton of seeds. After planting more parsnips, I cleared out a bit more of my farm before calling it a night. Day 12, I did my chores and went to the traveling cart to see if she once again commits a miracle just for little old me. Ooh, sandfish. To help with my financial crisis, I fished for the rest of the day to try to make up the money I have lost. That's a decent amount. I'm okay with that. Day 13, the Egg Festival. I love this event because I dominate this damn event every goddamn time. I've never lost this minigame before, and my god, if I ever do, I will fucking quit. I bought as many strawberry seeds as possible that I could and began the competition of the Egg Festival. And I killed it. Screw you, Abigail. Screw you, Vincent and Jazz. I win. I'm the best. Me. I then went to bed and dreamed of how awesome I did, crushing their souls and their dreams. Day 14, I did my normal crop chores, did a community center run with some items, and then went foraging for a bit to collect some items I would need for the future. After my little forage run, I went into the mine to try to get some copper ore as I was running severely low. As the sun set and my energy was getting severely low, I returned home for a nice comfy slumber. Okay, I can't actually believe that I'm freaking saying this. Footage from days 15 to 28 is corrupted. There's bits and pieces that I'm showing you on the screen. They're still images. Unfortunately, however, this footage was filmed back in January. I hardly remember what I did, except knowing that I did the basics as foraging, mining, fishing, farming, gifting, all that fun stuff. If this video wasn't so close to being done, I wouldn't mind it as much, but the fact that it has taken me 6 whole months to finish this video and to just now realize this footage is corrupted boils my blood so much to the point where I want to cry. However, everything else works, so we're gonna move on to day 29 in summer. Day 29 began with me planning out my summer crops and deciding how much I had left for simpler achievements such as the full shipment or collecting all of the fish in the game. For the quality crops bundle, I need 5 gold quality melons, so I made some fertilizer to try to get at least 1 or 2 this patch. After planning out my field, I bought my summer seeds and returned home to plant them. After planting my crops, I chopped down some trees and then retired to my bed. Day 30 began with a lot of watering. I may have bought 1 too many seeds. After watering, I visited the wizard, finishing up a delivery of a quartz that he requested, and then I gave a gift to Marnie and traveled down to the beach and fished for some summer fish. After fishing, I decided I hated myself and decided to go to the tavern and play the monstrous game that is known as Junimo Kart. I hate this game with a burning fucking passion. My farm was featured in the Stardew Valley Tribune on day 31, and I could honestly care less. I did my farm chores, repaired the broken bridge on the beach, and foraged the beach items. I fished for a bit once again, and then I ran up to Robin's house and gave Mario a strawberry, which she appreciated. I then fished on the mountain lake for the rest of the day. I once again was fishing on day 32. Dear God, it is happening again. After fishing, I gave a gift to Linus as I wanted to befriend him because I enjoy his character. I then decided to fish in the town's river and then moved to the beach. I literally fished in every single place today. It was raining on day 33, which got me out of watering my crops. I then fished for the rest of the day. I'm not kidding. God damn it. It was still raining on day 34, and my fruit bat cave gave me quite a bounty of fruits today. Today was gift giving day, and I gave gifts to Emily, Abigail, and Caroline. I decided I wanted to clear up my farm a bit more before retiring for the night, and I got level 5 foraging. Day 35 was lost to the world as I apparently forgot to press record until the end of day 36, so half of day 36 is also lost to the world. So based on what's in my inventory bar, I assume I went mining on day 36. I swear this doesn't happen again. Day 37 was spent fishing up the rest of my summer fish that I needed, and since the red stabber can only be caught on a rainy day in summer and I didn't get it previously. I was also collecting fish for future cooking recipes that I might need them for. After catching my ocean fish, I moved to the mountain lake for some fish that would give a bigger product. I did that for the rest of the day. After watering my crops on day 38, I did a community center run with my newly acquired fish and other community center items that I had gotten over the past few days. After my run, I went mining for some gold and copper as I was running severely low on both. Day 39 was the luau, and my ingredient of choice was a spice berry. I talked to the villagers, plopped my spice berry into the pot, and the governors seemed to really enjoy the soup, which is what I was going for. Day 40, I began collecting my hot peppers as they're a great gift for both Shane and Lewis, two people who I plan to befriend early on in the game. After watering my crops, I visited Robin and asked her to build me a coop. It was about time I started working on my artisan goods. I then went on a gift-giving spree, giving gifts to Abigail, Lewis, Elliot, Emily, Shane, and the wizard. Because of my gift-giving, I got a Shane cutscene that I have seen one too many times. I chopped down a few more trees before calling it a day. It was raining on day 41 and my melons were ready to harvest. And I only got one gold quality melon out of the 9, and so I'm not going to really complain about it this time around. While waiting for piers to open, I patiently fished for some gold. Once the shop opened, I bought as much wheat and corn as I could afford. I traveled to the beach and did some ocean fishing and went to sell them, but instead got shown a cutscene instead. I went home, planted my wheat, and called it a night. My blueberries were ready to harvest on day 42, and I saved one for the community center. My bat cave gave me a couple more community center fruits, and with all these new items and artifacts that I had just recently collected, I did a community center run. I finished the summer crops bundle along with the exotic foraging bundle. I then made my way to the museum, donating an anchor and an ancient seed, which is a huge moneymaker crop I really wanted to exploit. After donating my items, I went to the mines to finish up a delivery order for a client. I then went home and peacefully slept. Day 43 began with a brand new chicken coop. I watered my crops and decided to go gift giving, giving a void essence to the wizard, an amethyst to Emily, and a dandelion to Haley. I foraged on the beach and tuned in for an early night. Day 44 began with my farm chores and me looking at my friendships that were forming with some of the villagers. I tried to get some chickens from Marnie today, but she wouldn't come out of her goddamn room, so I left. I gave the gift to Shane and then called it in for another early night. My wheat was ready on day 45, and after harvesting, I saw we were running a little low on iron and coal, so I went mining in the ice levels. I reset level 40 in the mines for the entire day, collecting as much iron and dust sprites as possible. Another harvest of my blueberries was ready on day 46, which meant I was going to make quite a profit today. I was finally able to get some chickens today. I got 3 and named them Wingus, Dingus, and Bingus. Very creative. I know. I was in another gift-giving mood, giving gifts to the wizard, Lewis, Shane, and Elliot. I also began work on upgrading my copper pickaxe into a steel one. I reached level 6 farming that very night. Day 47 began with my farm chores such as watering the plants and making sure the chickens had enough hay to eat. I began smelting some resources when I realized my chests were very unorganized and I needed to fix it. Now. I began making a little spot behind my shipping bin for my chests and spent the entire day organizing them between smelting my resources into bars to make some sprinklers. It was thunderstorming on day 48, and the only thing of interest that I did was going to Robin's and buying all the path recipes she was selling. I literally bought them and I went to bed. This was a very short day. Day 49 began with me searching my new chest system for my watering can. I collected eggs from my chickens and placed them into new mayo machines that I had made. I fished on the mountain lake for a bit before heading into town, giving a grape to Vincent and a peony to Jazz. I fished at the town river for the rest of the day. Day 50 was another blueberry harvest, but this time I saved a good number of blueberries for future winemaking. I went to Klitz to break open some geodes that I had been collecting for quite some time and got some new minerals out of it for the museum. I gave gifts to Lewis, Alex, Haley, Elliot, and Vincent. Also, looking back at some point, I got the iridium fishing rod. I cleared out my farm the rest of the night and hit level 6 foraging. Day 51 was spent collecting gold ore. That is all. After doing my chores on day 52, I cleared up a bit of my farm, chopping down trees, cutting down some weeds, trying to get a feel of what I wanted to do. After running out of energy by clearing out my farm, I went to bed for the rest of the night. It was another gift-giving day on day 53. I gave a peony to Penny, and then before continuing my spree of gifts, I waited patiently outside of Clint's to upgrade my pickaxe and to open some geodes. I gave a hot pepper to Lewis. I went to George to finish a quest. I gave Shane a hot pepper as well. I gave an emerald to Haley. I finished a quest for Geode by giving her a cauliflower. I gave a peony to Caroline, and I gave an aquamarine to Emily. And that concludes our day of gift-giving and quest completing. Thank God. It was still raining on day 54, and I began to wonder if I could complete the community center before the end of this 100 days. My blueberries were ready to harvest, and I shoved them into the shipping bin for a last harvest fortune. Today was spent decorating my farm and planning out my crop fields for fall. Today was the last day my blueberries were going to grow, so keeping them around while I could be planning out my farm is rather unnecessary. I also decided that my path was going to be one of the most expensive paths I can make, which is bricks. But how are bricks expensive, you might ask? Well, I can't clay farm. I suck at it. So I really rely on getting clay from homing artifact spots or just making spots to plant crops, which means clay is in short supply these days. So to me, these paths are expensive, but they look pretty, and I really wanted that pretty feel to it. I did, however, eventually ran out of clay and paths and had to call it a night. My last harvest for my hot peppers was ready on day 55, but it was still raining, so it was kind of gloomy. At least my lightning rods were finally getting some use. Remember how I said I suck at clay farming? Yeah, that's what we did today. I hoed a good portion of the beach away and only got 5 clay out of it. After realizing my mistake, I went to pick up my gold pickaxe and went mining for a bit to get my anger out. After getting all my anger out, I went home and cleared out some more of my farm. Day 56 was the Moonlight jellies, one of my least favorite events. But the music is nice, and that's the only good thing I like about it. I understand some people might come to me and be like, but the jellyfish, they're so cute and pretty. Yeah, no. This event is just kind of lame compared to the other ones for me, and it's like a C ranking at the best in my book. Also, I apparently didn't learn my mistake from last night as I clay farmed. In the mines. I left the mines at around 5 p.m. to make it to the event on time after clearing my inventory. I watched the jellyfish do their thing while I can only assume I was watching TikTok because I just wanted to hear the music and could care less about the rest of it. Day 57 was the first day of fall and my first corn harvest. I ended up getting 2 gold quality corn, and considering I've had to grow it since the middle of summer, I was sure that I would get 5 quality corn before the end of fall. I went to Piers, bought a very large number of seeds, and returned home to plant them. I called it an early night and slept very, very peacefully. The request board opened on day 58, and I accepted Emily's Rock Rejuvenation quest since I deem it is a rather easy quest. I also stared at my farm that was starting to finally take shape and honestly got distracted and wasted some time by doing that. I fished and unlocked the old mariner achievement and bought as many pumpkins and cranberry seeds as seemed necessary. Unfortunately, I was just a few seeds short before I ended my day. It was raining on day 59 and my jam was ready for the community center. Now, before anyone notices it, I'm going to call myself out on this. I accidentally sold the jam. And now I understand why I didn't have it when I went to go look for it. My mistake. I realized by giving all the gems to Emily that were needed for the quest, I was short a ruby, and I mined in the caves for an entire day in search of this much needed ruby. I did not end up finding it, but I did manage to complete a monster slayer goal and hit level 6 combat, so it wasn't totally disappointing. I was still searching for the ruby on day 60, and thank God I found it. I finished the Rock Rejuvenation quest and got a cutscene with Emily, which I ended up not at all watching. At the end of the night, I was alerted that I had reached level 8 mining. It was raining on day 61 and my corn was ready for harvest. I finally got my 5 gold quality corn and did a community center run, and yes, I did have an extra jam for this community center run. I finished up 2 bundles and then went mining for some iron and dust sprites as I was running low on both iron and coal. And before my day ended, I gave a gift to my friend Linus. I harvested a single eggplant on day 62, and after completing my farm chores, I decided it was in my best interest to do a museum run with some of the new stuff I had found. I also decided that I really wanted to get my fishing collection on its way to completion, so I spent the rest of the day attempting to catch both a stonefish and an ice pick. I, however, was only able to get the stonefish before the end of my day. I did my normal farm chores on day 63, I made some new paths, and even decided to get a hoe upgrade as I needed to start upgrading all my tools. I cleared my farm and called it a very early night. Day 64 started with a letter in the mail from Linus asking me to retrieve his berry basket just in time for Blackberry season. I humbly obliged and collected it. However, I got distracted, so I'd have to be giving it to him tomorrow. I had a nice cranberry harvest today and began making wine for one of the community center bundles that I still needed to complete. It was a gift-giving day today, and I gave gifts to Emily, Elliot, Shane, Pam, and Abigail. I went to bed after my long, tiring day of being Santa in the fall. I had a huge corn and cranberry harvest on day 65, and it got even better because it was a blackberry collecting day. However, before I could do the satisfying thing, which is collecting the blackberries, I had a few things I needed to do. I gave an amaranth to Marnie and gifted Emily an amethyst. I then completed Linus's basket quest. As I was going around collecting the blackberries, I stopped at the special request board and decided to take the bone quest. I got about 30 bone fragments before calling it a day. It was raining on day 66 and my sunflower was ready to be harvested. I finished up my farm chores before heading back into the mines to attempt to finish my bone quest. I got to about 89 out of 100 bone fragments before I had to leave for the night. Bones? I had bones once. They put me in a rubber cave. A cave filled with bones. I completed the bone quest on day 67 and afterwards I decided to forage for a little bit along with giving a topaz to Caroline to settle my soul because I had been to caves for about 3 days in a goddamn row. I went to bed, satisfied that the quest was finally complete. I got the recipe for the bone mill on day 68, something I will have to build to complete the craftsman achievement for perfection, but it is something I will probably never use. I gave some gifts today, giving an amethyst to Abigail and an orange to Elliot, along with a peony to Evelyn. She's such a sweetheart. I also did some geode openings, and I slayed 10 red slimes for a community quest. I had a big harvest on Funny Number Day, and boy was I turning out to be a proud farmer right now. It was also a big gift-giving day as I gave gifts to the Wizard, Shane, Marnie, Lewis, Sebastian, and Linus. I got a task to bring Evelyn a refined quartz, which I finished in the same day because I love her. Before the day ended, I also gave gifts to Leah and Pam. I told you I gave a lot of gifts. My pumpkins were ready to harvest on day 70, and I had everything I needed to complete the fall crops bundle in the community center. I foraged on the beach for a bit before skipping over to the traveling cart for sheer, utter disappointment. I began working on my tree farm as I was getting ready to start my winemaking business, which was going to bring in mega gold. I decided on this little area so it fills in the space better. The rest of my pumpkins and some corn were ready to harvest on day 71, and I restocked the hay in my coop, got some gifts, and headed into town. I fished on the bridge while waiting for Shane to walk by to give him a hot pepper. I was close to getting Shane done for friendship, so he's my main priority on the friends list right now. I also gave Gus a gift and for some reason thought he would like some corn. I sold the rest of my crops today to Pierre and bought 100 pumpkin seeds. I also visited Lewis and gave him a pepper as well. To be honest, friendship is my least favorite part of the game, so I knew I wasn't going to get very far by the end of these 100 days. I picked up the Juicy Bugs Wanted special request because that extra cash is so freaking good. I fished for the rest of the day. I only had a few crops to harvest today, so I spent some time doing some work around my farm, and I was hoping to do some work around the valley. I did some farm chores, gave some gifts, and I remembered today was the festival. God damn it, I knew something was up. As per usual for me and the fall festival, I played the wheel game until I earned enough points to get me both the Star Drop and the Rare Crow, because I've never collected all of them before, and I was down to do it this time. I harvested some crops, did my farm chores, and went to bed on day 73. Yeah, that's really it. I'm pretty sure I had to go to an appointment as soon as possible for this day. So, yeah, wasted. A day wasted. We love. It was raining on day 74 and some of my cranberries were ready to be picked. I started working on the Juicy Bugs Help Wanted quest that I'd accepted a few days ago, and honestly getting 36 pieces of bug meat on the first day is actually not too terrible with my luck. I continued with the Bugs quest on day 75, trying to inch my way ever closer to the pot of gold on the other side. I finished the day off with 82 juicy pieces of bug meat. I completed the Bugs Wanted quest on day 76, getting all the juicy bug meat Willy desired. However, once I had completed the quest, it was too late in the night to go turn it into Willy, so I just went to bed instead. I harvested a small number of crops that were grown on day 77 and immediately made my way down to the beach to turn in my bug meat and got a nice pot of gold along with it. I also creepily waited outside Elliot's house to give him an apricot because I'm weird like that. It was a bright sunny morning on day 78 and after doing my farm chores, I went and grabbed the Biome Balance special request. I gave gifts to Shane, Lewis, and while on my way to give Elliot a gift, I was greeted with this amalgamation of disgusting bug meat. This is what you used it for, Willy. I am ashamed. I gave my gift to Elliot and then traveled to the Adventurers Guild and sold my unused boots and weapons. I gave out some more gifts and then called it an early night. I harvested my crops on day 79 and began my work on the Biomes Balance request that I picked up yesterday. I fished the entire day until the quest was completed. It was raining on day 80 and my goal for today was to fish up the remaining fish that were needed that could only be caught in rainy weather for the fishing bundles. I also finished the vault bundle and then continued to fish for the rest of the night. I got a cutscene with Shane telling me he was going to see a therapist, which is good for him. Also, at some point, I bought another silo, but I don't remember seeing that in, going back through the videos, nor do I remember doing that. I completed the fishing bundles and was now one step closer to completing the community center. I cleared out more of my farm before heading over to Clint's to upgrade my trash can to copper, and then I went back to clearing my farm. Shane gave me the recipe for a strange bun on day 82, which would be great if I actually cared about the cooking recipes in these first 100 days. I cut some tall grass to get some free hay, cut down some trees, and then headed into the mines to collect some ores and slay monsters. It was a lot of collect today. My pumpkins were ready to harvest on day 83, and after doing my chores, I gave some gifts, collected some wood while waiting for the Spirits Eve festival to start. I did the maze, got my golden pumpkin, and went to bed. Pretty easy. Spirits Eve is always easy. The rest of my pumpkins were ready to harvest, along with a large amount of my cranberries. I made some tappers to start my oak resin farm so that I could start making wine to up my profits, because oak resin's needed for kegs. So I got to get a move on that. I collected Mayor Lewis's purple shorts and returned them to him. I traveled to a skull cavern and got to level 29 before having to return home. The first day of winter. I love winter, even though nothing flipping grows in winter. I began day 85 by planning my farm for spring. I wanted a lot of crop space and to have enough of my farm mapped out for sheds and my other buildings that I wanted to make. I started foraging for the items for the winter foraging bundle and even bought some tree saplings before continuing my foraging. I went mining today as I was running low on ore and stone, along with trying to get closer to completing some of my monster slayer goals. I took the geodes that I had found in the mines and went to Clint's to try to get some minerals that I had yet to collect. I had a cutscene with Linus, and let's just say, what the fuck is the best way I can explain that? I had another cutscene with Linus today, and again, what the hell? I tried going to Robin's, and oh my god, another goddamn Linus cutscene. Listen, I know Linus is like my homie. I've talked a lot about him these last, 87 goddamn days, but it's like, holy crap. Can I not have like 3 weird Linus cutscenes in order? I bought a barn and I foraged for a bit before calling it a night. It was snowing on day 88 and I spent most of my day pathing and working on decorating my farm. I also checked out what I had left for bundles and went foraging on the beach. I made some more tappers for my oak resin as I was getting closer to getting ready to make my first cake shed. I also began working on the shipping collection, which is where you need to ship one of every forageable crop item that you use for crafting and almost every single ingredient that you use for cooking. I also spent some time clearing out my farm to try to figure out the best place to put my future cake sheds. I went to the traveling cart to once again be utterly disappointed. I seem to have used up all my traveling cart luck that was earlier in this series, especially with that red cabbage seed. I also gave out some gifts today, leaning heavily on trying to level up my friendship with the wizard. I went gold mining on day 90 and it did not go good, at all. My barn finished and I bought a couple of new animals. Everyone welcome? Cheese and Breeze. I'm so creative. Also, let's not question the fact that I accidentally purchased 9 heaters. I had already gone through most of the day and I did not want to try again. I was very upset with myself at this for a while. I remember it dearly. I was very pissed off, and rewatching this footage reminded me about how pissed off I was when I did it by accident. This was not a fun day to rewatch and write a script for at all. I fished all day for some easy cash on day 91. Pretty small day, pretty easy day, but a lot of money. I got a nice batch of oak resin collected today and started my cake farm by making pumpkin juice. I also went down to the ice festival, caught a bunch of fish, beat Willy, which was all I really cared about, and won because I'm just better. I harvested some of my winter forageables as it is one of the only ways you can make a profit during winter. After harvesting them, I made as many as I could back into seeds and replanting them before shipping the excess that I had off for cash. I donated some artifacts to the museum and went around giving some gifts to the villagers. I cleared out more of my farm until I basically ran out of energy and called it a night. I spent a good portion of my morning clearing out more of my land and went to give a gift to Elliot. I don't remember if I said this earlier in the video, but Elliot was my bachelor of choice this time around. I foraged for a bit before calling it an early night and reached level 10 farming, and this is when I realized I had chosen the wrong perk for level 5 and needed to change it quickly. I unlocked the sewers on day 95 and immediately offered 10,000 gold to change my farming professions. Phew, glad that's over with. I took care of my animals and foraged for a bit before taking some more artifacts down to the museum and then called it a night. My first batch of pumpkin juice is ready on day 96 and now it's going to be worth more thanks to switching my profession for farming. Once again, I was disappointed by the traveling cart. What's new? I only had one gift to give today and that was to the wizard. I swear, I can only work on one person at a time or else my mind explodes. I went searching for artifact spots, or as I like to call them, worms, and got some clay and a few other things. I went to the saloon to try to give Pam a beer, but I instead got a rather nice Elliot cutscene, where I ended up drunk. And then I forgot to give Pam her beer, and instead just went right home. After a long 97 days of work, I finally reached level 10 friendship with Linus. Yippee! I also upgraded my house to prepare myself for the cooking part that I'd have to do the next 100 days. I then went mining for the rest of the day because I had nothing better to do. I began expanding my crop area for more winter forageables as I was making more and more seeds each harvest. I then went foraging and then spent some more time expanding and working on my farm. Also gave another gift to the wizard. We're finally here. Day 99 started off with this wonderful morning with my normal farm chores and then gave another gift to the wizard. I also realized while foraging at the beach that the night festival was in town, which means I can get my hands on 3 fish that are only obtainable during the festival, along with a pearl, which I enjoy getting. I waited near the bridge in town until the festival began. I easily got my pearl and then headed over to the submarine in hopes of getting all 3 fish that I needed in one go. I only ended up getting 1. And I lost track of time before I realized it was past midnight, and I almost didn't make it home. We did it! I finally made it to day 100! After legit 6 months of recording this goddamn game, the time had finally come! I harvested my forageables, remade them into seeds, replanted those very seeds, I took care of my animals, I fished, I waited for a night festival to start, I then fished again, and I got all 3 of the fish I needed. I plopped them into a fish tank that I had bought, and then I went to bed. That was one of the most eventful and happily endings I could have ever had for this 100 days. I can't believe it. After 8 months of working on this video, it is finally done. And oh boy, do not expect a 200 days anytime soon. That one will take probably longer to make if I have as bad a procrastination as I did making this one. There are moments where I wanted to delete everything and just go on with my life, but I couldn't let myself give up like that. So thank you guys so much. You guys are the reason I kept going with this project, and I'm honestly happy to say that I'm proud of it, even though there were moments where I wanted to give up. Extremely. So thank you. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the 200 days. Just don't expect it anytime soon.